Cool. How many more people are we waiting on?
So if we can wait just one more minute, I want to see if Sarah's able to join us. She was on the call this morning, but I don't think she's back. Sarah? No, nope, that's Steve. I just saw an S. But I know that she had some stuff going on, so she wasn't positive. So technically, oh, there's Russell. Technically, we don't have a quorum yet. Joy is available to join us. I just have to text her, but it's her birthday. So
okay.
Evidently she was hoping to spend it with her family instead of us.
Sheesh, go figure.
And here's Sarah. Sarah's coming in now, so we should be good.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So I think everybody's here who we are expecting for tonight. I went ahead and muted people as they came in. Eric, you're unmuted, which is great because you're going to lead the meeting. It just seems like it's easier to hear people when you don't hear some of the background noise. But unmute yourself if you have something to say. If you see the bar kind of down in the middle of the screen, there's a microphone and you just click on that to unmute yourself. There's also a feature in this where you can do a chat, and that will pull some of our comments up to the side. So if somebody's saying something and we're totally losing you, or you want to make a comment, you can start that chat area if you need to. That's a feature that's
in the chat. I put a link to this meeting on the city's website. So if you want to reference any of the documents that we're talking about while we're talking about them, I know that Jason's going to share his screen, but if we come up with any technical difficulties, they're all there for you guys to look at too.
Awesome. Okay, that's perfect. But other than that, we'll just run through it as a regular meeting. We did not receive any citizen comments. When we get to that part, we'll just have no citizen comments. Those would have come in ahead of time. And I'm assuming that Brad and Mark took care of everything. So we actually should be streaming on YouTube right now. So I guess you can go back and watch that if you want to.
All right. Pressure's on, guys. We need to be in our A game this time.
Family, right. Yeah, that you haven't seen in so long. So any other questions before we get started? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to turn it over to you, Eric.
All right. I guess my only question is really just to kick it off with the call to order. Do we need to go through each participant verbally, or since we have the list of names?
Let's go ahead and do it just so it gets us to practice mute and unmute. That would be great. And then we just, everybody, those who might be watching us on YouTube, because I'm sure there is a lot of people, will then know who's who.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. So John Clifford?
Here? Did you hear me?
Yep, we heard you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sarah?
Here.
Mike Jackson is not in. Brian?
I'm here.
All
Everybody?
Right. Welcome. Steve?
Yeah, right here. Good evening.
Excellent. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. And then Joy is not here. All right. So we have our roll call. We have a quorum tonight. So we'll proceed. I don't have any. I see. Moving Parks Master Plan to item 7. Okay. I see what you had made in there. Yeah, so I don't have any added adjustments to the agenda. And then so we can go ahead and work through the approval of the minutes. I wasn't here last time, but if somebody wants to review what we had from the last agenda and look through the minutes, I don't know if John, if you had a good chance to do that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I did. I didn't see anything, so I'm good. All's well.
Great. I looked through. I didn't see any typos or anything just from my walkthrough, but I didn't know if anything was incorrect either since I wasn't there. So, all right. So does somebody want to move to pass the minutes, and then we would need a second?
I'll move to pass the minutes for the meeting on March the 2nd. As per sent to us, as per what is indicated on the memo, meeting notes.
I will second. That's Steve.
All right. Thank you, Steve. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Meeting movement minutes are approved from the March meeting. So we will proceed to, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the previous order. Here we go, from last, here we go. That was the comment I was reading earlier. All right, so minutes are approved. Citizen comments, we did not receive any, so we will proceed on to a Cedar Creek Trail update from Jason.
All right, thanks for having me. I'll share my screen here and make sure we can get this going correctly. Is everybody seeing that?
Yes, that was great.
All right, great. And you can hear me loud and clear? Perfect.
Yes. Yep.
All right. The last meeting, I was at the February meeting, and a lot has changed since then, obviously. I was supposed to visit you in April, and here we are in May, so not too far behind. We're giving you a 3 to 6 month look ahead on the project, give you a status report. Purpose of today's presentation is to discuss all the right-of-way case files, and that's just the acquisition of the public trail easements on private property. Discuss the overall project schedule and construction start and end dates, and then kind of go over a review a new project timeline and history exhibit. I'd like to get comments back from you guys before we post that on the city webpage here. That's www.sherwoodoregon.gov, Cedar Creek Trail. So update on the property or property acquisitions. We originally had 6 case files. It was reduced down to 5 case files. And if you remember, can you guys see my cursor, my mouse?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So here are this is the Glen Condos. We have a trail easement through there. This is actually a temporary construction easement to get through. We already have a utility easement there, so it's not controversial. It's very small second right-of-way take on this case file here, but these 3 here, this is 3, 4, and 5 have all been closed out or settled. So that's the good news. And the next exhibit kind of shows our X's and O's. These case files have been closed out. We've got one tiny one remaining here. Just having a problem getting hold of the property owner. There shouldn't be any issues on that one. And the Glen Condos case file, nothing really is major with that one. We knew that would be complicated to begin with. We were trying to coordinate some property ownership issues on here, which we are going to have to resolve separately, but can kind of give you a summary on what's remaining here. So we've settled 3 of the 5 case files. We have 2 remaining. Again, that first one's pretty low value of $3,000. We don't anticipate there being any issues with that. We're just trying to get a hold of them. That leaves the Glen Condos case file, which was appraised at $33,000, just over that amount. The only thing we're negotiating with them is providing them with some sort of a split rail or security fence along their frontage, which we're estimating at $25,000. We are in discussions with their representative right now, so there are no controversial issues. We don't anticipate this going to condemnation or anything. It's just a matter of negotiating settlement. So we're concluding that these remaining 2 case files will be settled this month, and then payment and easement documents recorded next month. We're going to revisit the project's typical ODOT project lifecycle exhibit. This was from our February meeting, and we overlaid some dates onto this. I know this might be kind of confusing to follow, but this is just a typical federally funded project going through all the stages, and this is where we were in February. We're still on track. We're right about here, and we're still on track, but potentially a little early to deliver our final PS&E to ODOT, perhaps in July, but August is what we're looking at. I'll show you why advancing that schedule is there's not a whole, although we're trying to advance everything as fast as possible, time-wise, we're kind of crunched by some restrictive in-water work windows and the bird nesting periods. In this set of exhibits that I'll toggle back and forth on, kind of show that. So what we have here is kind of our two most restrictive things on a federally funded project are a Migratory Bird Treaty Act and your in-water work windows, which unfortunately are at the polar opposites of calendar year. So you definitely don't want to start projects in this period where we are now, and you don't want to end your in-water work period at the end of a project. So if you look at our project here, I've overlaid this is the bird period basically, and this is the in-water work period. And if you look at one here, this is where we're targeting our project to start. One says bid opening. We're slating that to occur in late October. I'm shooting for early October, late September. 2 would be construction being underway in November. And the reason for that is we want to do that in the fall period when the birds aren't nesting. So all necessary trees and vegetation will be removed during the first few weeks of construction, more like a month. But if we were to do that right now, we'd have to have an APHIS certified biologist remove all the trees. So it would really add about $100,000 and another 2 months to construction time. So we don't want to do that. Kind of rambling here. Again, in-water work period, we've all heard about that. You cannot work in the stream until it's July 15th, until September 30th. So that's at the tail end of the project. The contractor will complete boardwalk structure over the creek at this time. So we're really constrained by birds and in-water work window. So there's really not a benefit to moving this number 1 period up more than a month. That's what I think we might be able to do, but any benefit to accelerating that is 1, impossible, and 2, there wouldn't be really any benefit to it. So this exhibit is intended to show you our project overlaid on our 2 restrictive windows. And I hope I'm explaining that correctly. Please interject if I'm not. Does anybody want to chime in on whether those 2 exhibits are helpful, or they kind of show the bird nesting period and the in-water work window?
Yeah, I thought that was helpful. Thank you, Jason.
Okay, sorry, I'm throwing in a lot of information here.
Hey, Jason, a question for you. Why can't you do numbers 3 and 4 in December, January?
3, we won't be able to set the boardwalk structure over the creek until July 15th. Because of we are setting footings right next to that stream corridor, so we actually can't physically go past a certain point until July 15th. We could apply for an early in-water work window, but usually those are only granted when there's no actual fish in the stream passage. So we do have actual fish year-round, so we won't be able to go in and set that final boardwalk structure until this date.
I guess I don't understand that. Could you explain it further?
So I can jump in. I think so. Basically, the gray window is area we can't be working in water, right?
No, that's correct. We cannot work in water unless we're in the blue window, and our tributaries don't allow us to get in to set that structure until we get past July 15th.
I guess you said we can't work February 1st to April 15th, and we can't work April 15th to July 31st. But that doesn't answer my question as to December and January. Why can we not work December and January?
We are working December and January. I'm sorry, the gray periods when, and I can change this exhibit, the gray periods when we are working. So we're going this way, and then it re-picks up over here.
No, I get that, but it looks like you're doing between 1 and 2 and from October to November.
Right.
And then it looks to me like you're not doing anything until July 15th. So my question is why can't we move 3 and 4 to December, January?
No, we are doing, I'm sorry, I'm trying to draw something over in a schedule that's already created. So the gray period is when we're working. Bid opening, actual groundbreaking, continues over through to here.
Oh, okay.
year, and then we're still working, but we cannot set that bridge structure into the ground until right here.
Okay, so you're removing vegetation starting November,
Yeah.
going December, January kind of thing, and then you have
Right.
to stop. Then you have to stop February 1st and wait until July 31st.
No, we'll be done. We'll be done doing the vegetation removal the first month into the project.
Yeah. So here's a dumb question: Will the vegetation grow back between
Oh,
when
no.
you're done and?
No, they'll be having rock down there. Won't even have the ability to grow back.
Okay.
And I'm sorry about these exhibits. I think to me they explain everything, and sometimes if you stare at them long enough, like those paintings, they turn into something. That makes sense. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's because, and if we just showed it from starting from one, that would be helpful. But you're trying to show that it doesn't do much good for us to start earlier. So that's why it's kind of going around and lapping back around. Whereas
Correct.
if
So
we
if
would
we-
have just started from one and continued the calendar on, it might have made a little bit more sense. But we were trying to show you couldn't back it up, I believe.
Correct. We cannot move that July 15th date any earlier. And we're really trying to avoid needing the biologists to go into every tree. Like they literally have to climb up every tree to make sure there's not nests in it. If you were to do the project now, every tree removal would cost about $5,000 to $6,000. Whereas we're going to do it in a season when it costs about $2,000. So
Jason, what's the finish date on this scenario? When's the last day of construction? What's our finish date?
substantial completion a year from this Labor Day.
Okay.
So right here, I'm showing them setting the bridge structure. July 15th is their in-water work window. Between July 15th of 2021 and August 15th of 2021, they will be basically finishing the project.
Okay, and that'll be the last piece then that goes in. We're just having to wait on that last piece.
Yep, and
Other
I'm
work
still
will
going
go
correct. I'm still working on whether we can do an early application for that, because I know we'll get asked to, but from what I'm hearing is if there's our fish in that stream, they're not going to let us do that. But I'm trying to fast track the project as much as possible without disturbing our FHWA folks, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So I'll try to rework the schedule, Kristen, with you to where we cut it and paste it so it's chronologically ordered, not please start over here sort of a thing.
Right. Okay, that sounds good.
And we'll fix that. And I'm sorry about that, but that's kind of, we're pinched between two windows and trying to make fit within the budget we have.
Okay.
So that leads me into the history of this project. I reworked the entire history of this project. And this is actually this is the most helpful exhibit I looked at. And if you look here, this is going to be posted on the webpage, and I was wanting to get feedback on whether it really is helpful to state these as FY 22, 23, FY. Do people really understand what I'm getting at there? And Parks Board folks will tell me yes or no. But really, that's just mapping out this project from the next 3 fiscal years. Yellow would be the current fiscal year, all the way back to when this thing started, which really, it goes into fiscal year, believe it or not, 11-12. So this is kind of the exhibit that I would like to get feedback from Kristen and Julia, and hopefully if Joe's looks at this too, and does this make sense to council? And I'll post this on the webpage this week, but to me, this was the most helpful exhibit, kind of just going, where have we been and where are we going? And I don't want to go through all the details here, but this maps out, we're in the current fiscal year here, everything we just talked about. Here's construction. This is that final boardwalk segment getting set on the creek there. And it starts our bond period, and then that's our bond closing out. And our public works guys accept this the next year after that. So this is kind of my wrap it up exhibit for everybody. And you don't have to provide comments now. It's got footnotes that kind of explain everything, but this was kind of my project history timeline. And, it's amazing that this project's been 11 years in the making, but we're going to get it almost 11 years, I guess, 10 years, but we're going to get it done. And
I have a question, Jason.
Yes, please.
I like it, and it makes sense to me. If you want to go back to that previous screen, I just wanted to look at page 2. I think I had seen a date in there that it didn't seem to make sense with the fiscal year.
Is it down here?
Where was it? I thought I saw like a 2011 in one of the other dates, and then that was.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, just that first one on November 2011. So maybe that's just because that was before this one. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that makes
So
sense.
I read that too, and that was confusing to me as well. But if you read on, and I was 100% with you when I reviewed this before the presentation, but the reason that the year 11-12 wasn't on there is that CMAQ funds were ultimately obligated for the city's project on January 24th, 2012. And that was kind of when that's when the funds got turned on, and that was fiscal year 12-13.
Isn't that, when does the fiscal year start? I thought it starts middle of the year.
Yeah, July 1st.
Okay, so January 24th, 2012 would be 11-12 fiscal
You're
year.
right. Good catch. That makes the project look even longer, though.
But it's the truth.
But it is the truth. Okay, good catch, Eric.
Good catch.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I got to make this thing look even longer. Wow.
Fortunately, not a whole lot happened then, so you can just add one more note below it.
Okay. Well, I think to sum it up, that was a good lead in, Eric. Things are going very well. I don't want to jinx us, and we'll add that fiscal year 11-12 onto this project. And I'm going to keep the good things going, and we're going to get her done. And any questions?
Probably not a question, but Steve here. Wondering about some project signage at the endpoints or where the public would be seeing what's going on. Non-technical, simple signage that explains that timeline of the project. Because you're going to have a whole lot of questions, and Jason, you may be the only one that knows how to answer them. So if you don't get questions from the public by use of some simple signage, that probably makes the whole project run better.
Right. You're suggesting some informational signage at the endpoints for the project to help my job, honestly, right?
Yeah, because I think the phone calls get lost, and people are going to answer things they don't know. And just if people can read it and figure it out, but like you say, non-technical, simple signage, that also, I don't think people understand, because today you can't, real easily be on both ends of the project in a few minutes, not like when it's done. So they're going to see some work here and not know what it's part of.
That's a great suggestion too. And I had been thinking about some of those little barcodes that lead you, if you're driving by, you could just shoot a big sign of it and take you to the city's webpage. But no, that's a great suggestion, along with, I remember about 6 months ago, you had suggested more construction access points, which we now have 4 on the project as well. So that's a good suggestion, and keep them coming. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll get it done for sure. And it'll be just like all of our easy projects, we'll say, on the surface. And that's all I had. I can come back next month virtually. I've always loved the Parks Board, so I don't mind coming every 30 days, and I'll check back with Kristen on that. If we decide to skip a month, I'll be back the following month. But yeah, no problem doing monthly updates with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. We love you too, and or love when you could jump in and give us those updates. So
yeah, I'm here for the long haul. We'll get her done for sure. This is like probably most important project that I've ever done, just personally.
Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into the Parks Master Plan update. So
Okay.
Kristen, to take the reins here.
Yes. So not a huge update. Just wanted to let all of you know that things are still moving forward with the Parks Master Plan. We're still having our regular meetings. We were meeting doing phone meetings on a regular basis every 2 weeks anyways, so none of that has changed. We are actually going to be going before City Council tomorrow for a work session. And Lauren is going to roll out the draft plan and get some feedback and comments from them. So I invite all of you to tune in and watch it on YouTube. It'll be at 6 o'clock, and she'll be doing a PowerPoint and going through the whole presentation. Not a lot of information that you haven't seen before. It's really just put in a different format and all kind of wrapped up in a pretty bow. So no new surprises, still hearing, from people, of course, that trails are very, very high on the list, and it's showing some of the information from the meetings that we had back in January and even from last summer, and just putting all of that into a nice package. But we're still moving forward. We're still on track to hopefully adopt the Parks Master Plan in July. So any questions that anybody has? Once we get the presentation tomorrow, I'll forward it to all of you as well in case you're not able to join the meeting and watch it. Just gives you a little bit more time to go over things.
I'll just comment. I think it's funny timing too, with the trail hopefully completing next year then. And with the master plan, I feel like people are going to be like, hey, they listened to me.
Right. Very funny.
Yes. That's all I have on that.
Cool. Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, let's jump into, does anybody else have anything else on the Parks Master Plan questions? If not, we can jump to the Memorial Park or Veterans Park.
So, yeah, good news, bad news on the Veterans Park Memorial Grant application that we submitted. This was the second year that we've submitted for the application. I did take the changes that were suggested at the Parks Board meeting, and we decided let's simplify the project and put names on bricks or give people an opportunity to participate that way instead of trying to get everything on a wall. So we did simplify the design, and we were recommended to receive grant funding from the review committee. Then all of this happened, and those grants are funded through lottery dollars, and they have decided that though we are still being recommended, they are putting all projects on hold and not awarding any grants right now. So they're going to let us know when things change and they have a better idea of what their budget's going to look like for next year, and will be recommended to be awarded at that time. But until then, we're just kind of waiting, which is fine. But yeah, I'm glad that we're finally able to do it. I think we ended up getting maybe $5,000 less than we requested, but it was still, I believe, $28,000. So it'll be a nice project and a nice addition to the park.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's jump into our reports then.
Yes, so this is where I'm going to try and share my screen. So we do have one tree removal. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I did email this out, I believe, as well, but it's just over in a storm water filter vault, and this is the project here. It's very hard to see because the map part is so small here. But basically the project is to address inadequate storm water treatment with installation of a filter vault and piping. And 4 trees are potentially in the way or will have roots that are going to be compromised during construction. And all of these trees are trees that were volunteer trees that popped up. They're not trees that were planted. And we will include in the planting plan to replace and include some trees and appropriate shrubs. And then multiple trimming of these trees by arborists to address neighbor concerns with damage to siding and roofs. So there'll be some other trimming that occurs at the same time. And then on the next page, it shows the location of where that vault is. Did anybody have any questions on this one?
No questions on my part. More clear and straightforward than things have been.
Yes, and we did not move forward with the recommendation or with the request to remove trees last month. We decided that we needed more information because what we were receiving from the arborist was a bit conflicting. So we did not move forward with that one. They may decide to come back at another point and provide more information, but they weren't ready to do so. So I'm hoping that this one's a little bit more straightforward and it's within our stormwater area, so it needs to be done.
Well, I'll vote to remove as requested in the document. If somebody else wants to second.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Is that Sarah first?
Yep.
Okay. And then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed at all? Okay. So that has passed. Then the recreation report, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's pretty easy right now because we're not doing anything. The field house has been closed since mid to late March. We've actually tried to take advantage of the time, and Lance and Dennis have repainted the floors in there, done deep cleaning. The place looks spectacular. So they're trying to keep busy and get a lot of that stuff done. But obviously we're not holding games or having any sort of drop-in play or anything like that. And nothing's happening outdoors either right now. And I know Craig and his team are still trying to take advantage and prep stuff, but obviously a lot of their focus has been on responding to COVID and trying to help prepare our facilities to open back up and be prepared with some adjustments to how we're doing business. So no other reports of actual activity happening. And we have had to make adjustments to our year-end projections based on our lack of revenue, since we're not anticipating bringing in any money, like in the field house, for example, or for any rentals or even that player use fee that we typically take in. So we've had to make those adjustments. Any other specific questions? Okay.
Not for me. Thank you, Kristen.
Sure.
All right, Russell, you're in here. If you want to jump in and give us a council update.
All right. It's, I was telling everybody when we met a couple of weeks ago for the council, it's just so nice to see everybody's face again, to know everybody's still out there. It's great. So like a lot of things in the city, we met 2 weeks ago, but it was a 3.5 hour, work session. So we really, tomorrow night is our first, official public meeting where we're actually conducting more business of the city. What we have been hearing and talking about, around the city, reopening the city. I was just talking to Joe. I had my meeting with Joe this afternoon, and tentatively May 18th is sort of a projected date. The staff is working hard, Kristen and Public Works, Public Safety, everybody to figure out what's the best way. We have plexiglass either on order or being installed. We have, sanitizing stations that will be, set up in City Hall, so we can get City Hall back open again. Joe is delicately, working with staff to figure out, who wants. Some people are raring to come back, and some people are still a little, tentative. So he's got to balance that whole balancing act. Old Town restaurants, you name it, he's got his plate full. People who want to reopen, and his goal, and I think all of our goal, is to do it intelligently, safely, sensitively. So I applaud those, businesses and citizens who have really done amazing, creative things, and they've tried to take the opportunity to pay it forward and help their neighbor and be positive, even though this has been such a, in some ways could be very negative, on our businesses and our citizens and whatnot. So that's in the works. That's kind of a big thing right now. That's definitely front burner kind of stuff. Other things that have bubbled up, you may have seen some of this on Facebook, but backyard chickens are kind of coming back up again. So we'll have to see where that goes. There has just been some activity, on social media about backyard chickens. Nothing officially has been requested of City Council to have another discussion, but certainly we can always have another work session. So we'll have to just see where that goes, but that's a topic. Recreational marijuana is that's on a lot of people's minds. I guess I drove by and didn't see it, but there's a couple of billboards on 99 now within our city limits that talk about recreational marijuana, and the council. My personal take on it. We had a work session about this last year, and at the time we, a couple of council members, said let's have a work session. So we had a work session, and I think my personal take was, the citizens have voted on it a couple of times. If there's a grassroots movement and people want to go get, I granted it's difficult to go get signatures right now, but be creative, come up with a solution. You want to get signatures, you want to get it on the ballot. Okay, I support that process, but I don't support overturning, a decision the citizens have made a couple of times, not as a council member. I don't. So I know a few other council members feel the same way. So we're kind of in a holding pattern. I think if the group decides they want to do that, then hey, that's how initiatives get, on the ballot. Where we're all home, hunkered down, and construction projects are still lumbering forward. So another one of our big focuses is I think the high school is in great shape. I applaud the district and Charlie and all of those people over there have done such a great job. I think our high school is beautiful. I think it's amazing. I think it's going to be just fantastic, for, our kids to move in there this fall. I'm so excited about that. I'm hoping and praying and hoping and praying that the county, and their contractor, just gets all that done and our traffic circle is safe. I don't care if it's landscaped, as long as it's safe and it's striped and it's, I'm sure that they won't open in a minute before it's ready. I know that. I just hope all of that comes together and it all happens, the day before we have to open. I have great confidence in the county's ability to manage those projects. So that's definitely a front burner thing because we're just, weeks, couple months away from that whole thing happening. It's only May, but June, July, August, we're just so close. Also, let's see, there was all the school hopping. So city staff's trying to stay out of the school district's way as they begin, I saw them opening like little itty bitty cute little U-Haul pods today it was yesterday off of the back of a big long truck. I guess teachers put their stuff in one of those things. It goes someplace else and they pop up, in a few months in another building. And they have it all organized. I can't even imagine what the spreadsheet on that looks like, or the Microsoft project sheet. Let's see. So that's definitely something we're all thinking about. Roy Rogers. Okay, in one of the work sessions we had 2 weeks ago was the people from the county coming and talking about what they're going to do to Roy Rogers in that stretch between Borchers, and the bridge. And unless it changes, basically where we have vegetation, we will have no vegetation. So we're trying to deal with the county. I was probably one of the whinier people in the meeting that day, but I said, I don't want you to come in and scrape all that out that we have in Roy Rogers and replace it with an asphalt, graveyard. I mean, I just feel like, so we're trying to strike a delicate balance with the county. I think the mayor and Joe are going to meet with county officials again tomorrow and reiterate how important it is to us as a city that pretty nice entrance to the city stay pretty nice. And we realize that they need, more throughput in that, but not at the cost of removing like 90% of the vegetation. So I am going to encourage my fellow councilors to send, emails to our representative, to our commissioner, Roy Rogers and Catherine Harrington, maybe from the top down to say, hey, this is, we saw the plans. We're not impressed. I think Sean Garland mentioned some of those, he called them like cement canyons in Las Vegas where he grew up. And he said, we don't need a cement canyon. So we're talking like 8 foot tall walls on both sides of the road for an extended period of the road. Think about that. 8 foot cement, maybe nice looking walls. The mayor is adamant, no ivy, because it's an invasive species plant wise. John's shaking his head. And we're just too close to the wildlife refuge, to start planting something that might get. So, there's a lot of delicate things. And, we have homeowners and church owners and graveyard residents and, all kinds of it's a delicate thing. So they're meeting again tomorrow, and tomorrow night, hopefully we'll have an update from Joe and Keith about, the mayor, about kind of where we are on that. But I know that homeowners recently filed an appeal, which was granted. So the project got put on hold and they had to get more public input. I like that because that's who is going to affect the most are those people that live over in that neighborhood. So the rest of us will drive through it, but it's going to be somebody's backyard experience. So I completely support that.
So it sounds like a great opportunity for a really cool art project.
I completely agree. That came up. Maybe there could be some arborvitae, and then there could be some cool whatever metallic art project, and then there could be something else. I just think we need like John, we need a landscape genius to come through and really map out every foot, every little section, because right now there just is like no room between the sidewalk, because they want to have a sidewalk and they want to put the bikes up on the sidewalk. So the bike would be up on the sidewalk as not down because there's not enough room, not to put it down in the roadway. I understand all of their constraints. I totally get that. And to extend enough so we had beautiful landscaping with add I don't know, $1 million or something like that. I mean, it sounded like it was a lot of money. I get all that. But still, once they do what they do, they're not going to come back and fix it. So we have got to get this now before whatever we can twist out of them. I just feel like if we can get, Commissioner President, whatever they're called, Chairman Harrington and maybe Roy it's his road, for heaven's sakes. That's what I'm going to appeal. I'm like, dude, it's your road. Come look at it. What do we need to do? I'm hoping that'll be enough of a twist, and then they'll wave the magic wand of budget reallotment, and then whatever. I'm hoping. So that's just me. Let's see. I think we have a regular meeting tomorrow night, and we're just still dealing with a lot of, everything that's going on. So, and I'm just watching how, you guys have all seen this, how people are getting kind of cranky on Facebook. Don't want to jump into any of those conversations at all. I feel both sides of all of those conversations. I certainly do. I personally wear my mask when I go to Walmart and Target, when I go out to Home Depot. I wait in that line. I feel like, okay, because I'm not a health expert, so I have to kind of wait until they say it's, that's just my own take. So I don't plan on running down to Salem and marching on the steps of Salem or anything, but that's just me. So that's it. You guys have any questions about anything that's going on? John, your lips are moving back here.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, there's some survey being done over on the corner of Murdoch and Oregon Street, right at the roundabout. I was just curious what's going on there.
I don't know. It's probably something, we had that discussion a while back about that intersection.
Yeah.
We did talk.
They're surveying all the way down Oregon, so they were down by the fire station when I was there.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
That's
This is Jason. Jason Waters is still here. Those are survey crews from our Southwest Oregon Street Improvements Project that are out there from CES Northwest, getting to a survey for our improvements along that stretch and our regional water quality facility there.
Hey, Jason, since you're on the line, I wanted to know, is the sidewalk improvement happening on both sides or just on the south side?
Both sides is the plan right now, and we're going to be presenting our design concepts to, I think, the city council later this summer. We're kind of having design charrettes with Craig Sheldon's crew for the public works facility master plan. So yeah, sidewalks on both sides for sure.
So does that include street trees on both sides?
That's the part we're working on, because it's about 5 feet constrained. So one of the sides may not have trees, but we do want sidewalks on both sides. But we want our city council to buy off on the street cross sections before we get too far in the design. So
yeah,
definitely. We met with the mayor in November on this one, and he expressed his concerns about the streetlights, and he wants them in the Westbrooks and would like to see landscaping on both sides. So that is a priority project.
Okay.
And to keep you guys in the loop too with the city council, and you guys signing off on that, because it is a little bit of a unique cross section. So you guys are going to sign off on that design cross section, and then we'll proceed with design.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the update. John, there you go. There's your update. Anybody else, or am I done? Everybody okay?
I do have a question, Russ. As far as the parks reopening, are we constrained by the
yes,
the governor?
Yeah.
So the governor has to rescind the order or change the order in terms of
that's what
playground
Joe,
construction is reopening and things like that.
That's what Joe told me tonight in our meeting. So I was asking that exact same question. I mean, in terms of like businesses and opening City Hall, that's kind of our thing. But he said parks, like school property, that kind of stuff. Apparently, I don't know exactly what the pecking order is, but apparently they're going to take their cue from the governor on that.
So they're going to take a cue from the governor, or we have to follow the governor.
We have to follow the governor. This is Joe Gall. I'm on the call.
Thanks, Joe.
So the sports fields, the playgrounds, the tennis courts, anything that was closed by the governor has to be reopened by the governor.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
So I have a question on that. So last week, I was invited to do some track work out over at Dunaway Park, which is the City of Portland Parks Department, and they are allowing people to run on the track and walk. And I mean, there were people of all ages on that, trying to keep social distancing, but it was pretty well attended. The only place no one was allowed was on the infield. But other than that, that whole Dunaway track was being used. So why is that track being open, but nobody else is available to use theirs?
So great question. The city doesn't have a track. So none of our parks have a track. So we haven't closed something that we don't own. The school district has tracks. The school district has closed their property to the public totally. And that's a school district decision.
I see. So
and
that's
people
different
are violating
than
that.
Yeah.
And there's no enforcement. It's not like someone's out there watching.
Yeah.
You'll see people on tracks, but the city doesn't own a track.
Right. Okay. I understand now. I wasn't sure if that was different as far as the city and the mayor, what was the decisions on those? Yeah.
Other questions related to that? We're getting lots of questions about that. So.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm done.
Good job, Counselor, by the way.
Thanks.
All right. I don't have any other items for the agenda. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to raise?
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on the call in this new fashion, you guys. We'll see what format we're in next month. But I'm glad we were able to at least meet and see one another's faces and get some stuff done still in the meantime. So
Yes,
with that,
thank you, everybody. I had to turn off my video because I started losing connection, but thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to come in and do this, and it was great to be able to see everybody, and hopefully we're back in person next month, but it's nice to know that this is an option, and I appreciate everybody making the effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chelsea, for putting this together as well. So I'm glad we were able to still meet. So
No problem.
All right.
I'm glad we didn't have very many technical difficulties.
Yes.
yeah, that went pretty smooth.
Yes.
That was good. I think
I'm like, we should stop while we're ahead.
I know.
Don't jinx us, Kelsey.
Right.
Well, we're at the end. We can stop if we need to.
All right. We'll go ahead and call this meeting adjourned. So thank you all so much again, and
Thank
enjoy
you.
your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.